Hi guys, hope you're all well. Now, this is going to be a shorter video because I didn't really watch anything this week, but as I was watching last week's video, I remembered that I'd missed out Nikita, and I had no idea how on earth I missed out Nikita, so I'll just, mention that. Last week's episode was about, basically, before Nikita and Michael became into division, there was a trainer, which is basically what Michael does now, and he went rogue. Basically, the reason that he went rogue and got fired is because he was training an operative to go kill an Afghani, whatever you want to call it. Basically, because I can't say it and it tongue ties me. To go kill an ambassador. Now, basically, what had happened is he bottled out and didn't kill it and killed himself instead. Well, he didn't really kill himself because when he returned to Division and said, "I can't do it," the trainer killed him with his own bare hands, which is how he got kicked out of Division. Now, in the episode, basically what you saw is the reason is why he got kicked out, and the fact that basically what he'd done is he'd kidnapped I think it was something like a 10-year-old girl, and basically made her his recruit. Now, so that he could write the one that he'd missed, so that he had a perfect record, what he was planning to do was planning to commit mass murder by blowing up the Afghani American Youth Council, I think it was called. Not 100% sure. But basically, yeah, he planned it. Obviously, with it being Nikita, she did foil him, which is why I love Nikita, because it's that sort of action yet softer side that I love. And it basically, they reunited the kid with their mum and dad, because obviously she'd been kidnapped to become the guy's recruit. All the way through the episode, you saw basically that at the beginning of the episode, they did rescue the girl, and Nikita sort of had her cracked, but not entirely, which is why she did, escape and go back to the recruiter. Yeah, so it were a good episode. I know I'm not entirely explaining it to the best of my ability, but there you go. Then Saturday, didn't watch anything. Well, obviously Saturday I did watch something. I watched the Harry Potter, but I talked about that in last week, so that was just to, catch you all up. Then Sunday I watched, obviously, Once Upon a Time, and I think we've only 3 episodes before that comes to an end, which is going to be annoying when it does, but there you go. And in this one, you basically saw the fact that Regina finally found out that Mr. Gold is Henry's grandfather, and the fact that what she wanted to do was turn Mr. Gold evil again. So what she did is she went to the hospital where Belle was, and because she's forgotten her memories, that's why she's in the hospital. What Regina did is basically she shifted it so that her old memories from when the town was cursed was, which turns out that Belle, the nice, sweet, innocent book reader, turned into basically I think the words they used were a scantily clad barfly. Yes, it were hilarious. And the whole episode was basically Mr. Gold trying to convince Lacey, I think it was, that she was actually Belle. It didn't really work, and in the end, he asked for David's, aka Prince Charming's, help into sort of getting her memory back, and the only way that they could think were to make her fall in love with him again. The only way that he could think to do that was to show her his good side, so, obviously asked her out on a date. Didn't go according to plan. Turns out she's in love with who she sort of rescued back in the Once Upon a Time land, which was Robin Hood. And yeah, Mr. Gold saw that she ran away with Robin Hood, well in Storybook Land, and tried to kill Robin Hood. Turns out that Lacey sort of brings out the evil side in him because she's sort of the bad girl yet. Do you know what I mean? You also saw a little clip which I'm presuming is going to build up to the end of the series, which is Owen and I can't remember what her name is, but it's Mr. Gold's son's fiance, which is evil to the core. So it looks like we've got 2 evil cows. Well, do you know what I mean? In the show, which is Regina and I can't remember her name, but there you go. Snow White, Prince Charming, and Emma are thinking about going back to the old land. Now, the only way they can do that is by planting the magic beans, and Emma doesn't know about it at the beginning of the episode, which is why Snow White and Prince Charming take her to the field and tell her that that's what they've been doing while she was in New York. The only trouble is that she sort of lets slip, not entirely. She sort of says to Regina, "You might want to look after Henry before you don't have him anymore when he's not around." So, do you know what I mean? Regina's a bit, well, what's going on? Where are you going? Do you know what I mean? And she goes, well, nowhere. But obviously, Regina knows that she's up to something. So, yeah. Just doing that. There you go. 2 dogs in the room whilst trying to shoot a video is not a good idea. But there you go. Next, I watched Fashion Fix. Now, Fashion Fix is basically 4 people on a panel to talk about the celebrities, what they've been wearing throughout the week, which consists of George. I'm not entirely sure what his last name is, which, do you know what I mean? It's taken me 3 weeks just to remember that his name's George. Kelly Osbourne, the other one which I can't remember, she's blonde, can't really remember, and Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers basically just takes the absolute piss out of everyone, and it is so hilarious. Basically, if you want to laugh yourself to death, just go watch that for an hour. It just makes you laugh in hysterics. Then Monday I watched Whitney, which is on Comedy Central. And in this one, Whitney's older sister that she hasn't seen in about 5 to 10 years comes back into the picture and basically says, "I've come to see a doctor." Whitney does, I think the line is from, "Well, what's the doctor for?" "Oh, it's an endocrinologist." And Whitney, I think, goes, "Why, what's up with your endocrines?" Which is just hilarious. It's just the type of comedy that Whitney is. Turns out that her sister is actually in transition to get a sex change, and it's all about the complications and all about that, about, you know, what Whitney feels about it. Still, at the same time, being absolutely hilarious, but do you know what I mean? It's that sort of softer comedy side of the show rather than just being full-on comedy, which is nice to see a change, but it's good. Then Tuesday I watched 2 shows. One was CSI New York, and this one was all about basically a senator, I think it was doing audience in one of the big open spaces, and a guy came along to shoot. Well, it was an attempted shooting. Turns out it wasn't him that he was trying to hit at, it was the woman standing beside him. Unfortunately, Lindsay, which is a good character in the show, got shot at the same time. Luckily, she's alright. She only got sort of, I want to say clipped, you know, just, she did get shot, but not in a place that had really hurt her. Then, at the same time, she keeps drifting in and out of consciousness, and she thinks that her husband is standing by her bedside. It turns out it's not. It's the suspect, and he writes on the wall, the window, sorry, "I'm sorry," and leaves a fingerprint behind, which is how they capture him. It turns out that the reason that he was trying to shoot the senator is that he was trying to shoot the woman. It turns out that he was an ex-teacher, which had basically, one day, I think it showed you a little clip, one day that a girl had scraped her knee and he went, "Are you alright?" and just sort of, you know, gave her a cuddle and said, "Don't worry, it's alright." And the head teacher sort of took it the wrong way and basically had him struck off. No evidence whatsoever that he were, you know, doing anything untoward, which is why he thought his career were ruined, because he did move to another school, I think he said, but, you know, he couldn't get rid of the stigma, you know, couldn't be left alone with a child, you know, do you know what I mean? And that was CSI New York. And then I watched New Tricks. Now, New Tricks was all about a guy that had killed his wife about 15 years ago, was getting released from prison, and they basically had to trawl over the case and see whether or not he was actually innocent or guilty. Turns out he was actually innocent, but throughout them trying to find that he was innocent, didn't really help himself by frightening a witness, frightening his daughter that had seen more or less the whole thing, and yes, it were a bit strange. But they did actually find out that it was one of the policemen that were helping them to capture him again, that had been having an affair with his wife and had run out and just left the body, so that when the husband came in, it had looked like he'd done it, and the husband had served, I think it was something like 15 years for this particular crime. Yeah, so, bad thing. Then, also in New Chicks, turns out that Brian, one of the main cast, has, a couple of weeks ago, the first 2 episodes... Sorry, that's my dog. Just give me a sec. There we go. In one of the previous episodes, he'd basically got an ex-officer to admit that he'd wrongly, accidentally killed someone, and basically what he'd done is he'd recorded it and given it to the widow, no, not the widow, the sister of the person that had got killed. Dogs again, wish they'd sit down, but there you go. So basically it turns out that basically he'd been fired, and yes, it's a bit of controversy in the episodes that are going to come up, whether or not he's going to come back, whether or not he's not entirely sure, but we'll look forward to that. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't watch anything because Wednesday and Thursday I was just feeling like death had been, do you know what I mean? Going down the stairs now, I wish they'd sit down. Where were I? Yeah, I didn't really feel that all that well, so that I thought, I'll just turn off the TV. And then Friday I watched Nikita again. Now Nikita, it turned out that a woman that they'd put undercover after they'd taken over Division to infiltrate a gang of terrorists, turns out she turned rogue and was actually a terrorist herself now. So they were trying to get her back and convince her that the terrorist wasn't actually a terrorist, he was like the ex-boss of Division that was only after, spreading fear and money. Turns out that one of the terrorists shot her, and yeah, she was dead. But it was a very, very strange episode because it came into question whether or not Nikita believed all in what she was doing, and do you know what I mean? Try to unravel whether or not she thinks she should be doing Division. Yes, I think it's going to be a good series. And that's my little rambling on what I watched. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry for the dogs deciding that they wanted to move around and be weird, but there you go. I hope you remember to like, share, do all the usual things, and I hope you have an ace week. Remember to check out all the social media links that I link below, and yeah, have a nice week. Bye.
Well, now it's Luke's